Hi, Taka. Hi, Nanine. Hello? Yep. Did you just have trouble getting on? Thank you. The very simplest thing technically is just to call the number and enter the meeting code, which is on that email. Yeah, she can do it with a regular landline. Yep, as long as it's a touch tone phone, which most phones today are. This is this is a complex world. Thank you so much for. Yep, and I'll pass on your greetings to the group if we don't see you. Much love. Hello, Jay. Oh, Janet. Okay.
Hi, good morning. Who else is coming?
Taka is on the phone.
Oh,
And
good.
Nanine just called. She's going to try to help her mom get on. They're in different locations, and Lisi is technically challenged, and the helper she has with her doesn't speak English. So,
Oh dear.
Nanine may or may not get back to us, but she said it means more to her mom than to her, which was very generous.
Okay.
Taka, are you still there? Taka was having trouble with her phone
Oh.
not being very loud.
Oh.
And Lynn, are you there? Oh, let me Lynn, I just unmuted your phone. Are you there? Can you hear me? Well, we can see your eyes, but not much more. And here comes Ken. Hi, Lynn. Oops. Oh, sorry.
Ah.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Lynn.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good.
And we can see Taka. Can we hear you yet?
Oh, she went away.
Oh.
Still a few
That looks
minutes.
pretty back there, Lynn.
Yeah, we landed in a good spot for this. We're lucky.
Where are you?
Bob's house in the Berkshires near Great Barrington. We're not suffering day to day.
I think the whole world is in some sense suffering day to day because everything is so unclear and so complex.
I know, it's
But
true.
we find little respites.
Exactly. Watching the news is not one of them.
No, definitely not. I ventured out this morning to Trader Joe's, and the line stretched
Yeah.
from 6th Avenue to 7th Avenue.
Oh my gracious.
Wow.
And people
Wow,
weren't
that's
spaced,
crazy.
there was space between people, but probably not 6 feet.
Yeah, up here, the grocery store put tape on the ground,
Yeah, they
so
did
that
that
people
at
would
the
know where to
checkout.
stand.
Yeah. they did
Yeah, that's what
inside.
they did.
Hi, Paul. Can you hear me?
I'm unmuted, but I'm using a second monitor, so
Yep.
I think I need to
Actually, you're
go
unmuted.
back to my
I can
first
hear you.
monitor because I can't plug into it. I don't believe. Let me see.
We could hear you as you spoke. Can you hear
Can
me?
you- Let's see here.
The one weird thing about Zoom is when it says mute, that doesn't mean that you're muted. It's the verb to mute. And when you press it, then you become muted and the button will say unmute. So it's not a status, it's an action. And what we're seeing from Jan right now is a strong light. I guess that's the skylight.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Okay, there we go.
Maybe the eternal light.
Let's see. Let me change cameras. Now I have the audio working. Let me change cameras.
Ken, can we hear you?
My internet up here is not very good, so I might go in and out, appear and disappear.
All right, we'll do it this way.
Wait another 2 or 3 minutes to see who else is able to join us. And
Hey,
then-
Arthur.
Hi.
You have a virtual background. You're in a
Yeah, what? That's
field of
great.
green.
I'm in a field of green. Actually, I'm surrounded by piles and piles and piles of paper. And I was so embarrassed that I found out I could put up this virtual background.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And if I wanted to, it could be a picture of the Ginza market or any place that I want.
There's Jan.
Hey, everyone.
Oh, hi, Bob.
Hi.
Hi.
Hope you're doing well up there.
Greetings. Thank
Lots of
you.
friends
We
of mine
are.
who live in
Yeah,
apartment buildings say everybody's escaped.
that we are. Yeah, we're running to the North Country.
Well, New York is
See you later.
Okay, we're
epicenter.
lucky. Yeah. I've seen pictures, it's the major streets are deserted.
Taka, can you hear us now?
Bizarre.
If you can,
I
raise your
can
hand.
hear you and I can also see you,
Oh, great. It worked.
but I
And
can't
And
see
we
the
can see
others.
You can't see
Oh,
the others?
Okay, well, I'm here. I've been here for a while.
Good.
Sometimes more successfully than others.
She
Other
may-
times.
she may have it on, whoops, she may have it on speaker view.
I have no idea.
In the upper right, there is a little thing with the
What happened?
16 dots
Ken, are
in a
you
square.
there?
And if you press that, it changes to,
There's nothing on my upper right. I see on the bottom left Paul's name. Hi.
Hi, Taka.
and Ken, I see your name, but I can't see you. Can you hear us?
You probably
I
have
can see Jen.
both his video and audio muted, I would bet.
Oh, here I'm touching my face. Hi, Jan. I can see you.
Good.
Hi, Jan.
Hello. Hi, Paul. I have 3 Zoom meetings today,
Yeah.
so I'm glad it's working.
Yeah. This Zoom is the new normal.
Yeah, let's hope their capacity keeps up with the demand.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
I know I work with the WebEx people, and they've doubled in the last 15 days, and they're asking people to start on the 15 minutes their meetings as opposed to on the hour to stagger it.
Well, let's start. I don't
Hi,
think
Ken.
that we all wait. Who is it? Ken, let me unmute you. Can you hear us, Ken?
I can, yes.
And
Good
we
to be
can
here.
hear you. Wonderful.
Hi, Jan.
Okay, I don't want to put a lot of order into this meeting, but we come from a couple of disparate communities. We're all joined because we knew and cared so much about Sunny. Let's just introduce ourselves with a sentence of how do we fit on the family or friend tree? Can you start, Paul?
Sure. Sonny was my father's cousin. My father, Philip Holman, grew up in New York, and they were cousins and close when they were young. And then they, after, with World War II, they fell apart, and my father moved to Kansas, had a career, moved to Chicago. And I think when they moved to Chicago, he was online with to get into a restaurant, and Sonny was behind him, and she said, "Is that you, Phil?"
Oh,
And that started a later in life love affair, and the families are very, very close. So that's my story.
And
Yes, we
Taka?
were all there at that restaurant. I remember that.
I remember. Yeah. Taka? Taka,
Hmm?
the question is,
Well, my relationship with Honey is somewhat attenuated because I know her as Jan's mother, but I was always really fond of her. I mean, she had such vitality and pep. She gave me a lift every time I saw her.
there's nothing attenuated about that. Jan was just your pathway to Sunny, which is fine. So Lynn, let me unmute you.
okay.
Lynn, how do you fit
Me?
onto the family
I
tree?
just cut out.
You're here.
My mom and Sonny basically were first cousins, so I'm a first cousin once removed. As an adult, I just, I moved to the city when I was like 30, and don't ever remember, not knowing Sunny after that. She was always part of family gatherings, and got close to Sunny and especially to Jan once I moved to the city.
So cousins on which side? Of
On my mom's side.
your mom's side.
Well,
That's
there's a marriage in there somewhere.
Right, it's actually my birth mother, so it's Sunny by marriage.
right,
Ah.
exactly.
Got it.
Right, exactly.
Some early relatives stay on even though somebody has passed.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
and Lynn's mom was a very close friend of our family, and we lived quite close together.
No, she's not.
Was there any Ken?
Yes. Well, I follow Lynn. Lynn is my cousin. Her mother and my mother were sisters. So my mother was Sonny's cousin. And we also grew up in Stuyvesant and moved to Peter Cooper. So we were not far away and grew up together.
And we all remember Elaine and Alice very fondly. And Sunny did too.
Yeah, thank you. Yep.
And who is behind the admin?
Oh, that's just my computer.
Oh, okay. And
And then somebody is on mute who's a 1858 number. There.
who is that?
On the phone? Somebody on the phone?
Yes, there's Felice. Can you hear me?
Yes,
yes,
we can.
wonderful.
And Felice, we
Is
have
that-
Dan's friend Taka and Ken Haber and Jan's friend Taka and the 858. Oh, okay.
Felice, how are you?
I'm okay for an old 100-year-old person, but Nanine just called me. She's staying out here in La Jolla right now, along with Jerry. They got stuck out here, so to speak.
Oh, wow.
And it's so strange. She just called me, and so I picked up and called you fellows. I think this is a splendid idea, and it's so strange that I was thinking about Sunny first thing this morning, so she must be hovering amongst us.
Yes.
You know, every time I have to write something, I think about Sunny because she wasn't the grammarian, she was the creator with words, and she was just so facile, as is Felice.
Yes, she was all those things. And a lot more. And a lot more. I miss her a whole lot. This is Felice
We all
speaking.
do.
Well, I'm going to take a back
Yeah.
and invite all of you to share what you want to share as we reflect on Sunny today, a year after she passed.
Yes, it's so strange that her vision just suddenly popped up this past week on her birthday. It seemed interesting, shall we say. And she's missed. We even pick up a medication and say, oh, this is something Sunny recommended.
Well, I always think of her with the hand sanitizer.
Oh, do you? Does she know of one?
So
She better get it to us.
smiling because I've been using it.
What is it?
She's up there smiling because I've been
Yeah.
using it more.
What is it? Tell us.
Hand sanitizer, Purell.
Purell. Oh,
She never left
you
home
can't get
without
that anymore.
No, it's liquid
Yes.
gold. Yes.
Oh, goodness, that's terrific. I have so many questions about her passing because I wasn't there, But I
don't have. I wish somebody would write me or write for generations to come the story of her passing, because it was very sort of surprising to me. I'm talking to her frequently. She's never mentioned she was on her way out.
Well, it wasn't until that last month, or maybe
But
5
last
weeks or
month
so.
I spoke, and how did she know she was on her way out?
Well, you know, when she went on to hospice, we were all under the impression, I think the medical people said, she will probably live about a month. And then 4 days later, when we least expected it, she passed. I think she was ready, but I don't think she knew.
Well, that was good. Well, at least I hope she wasn't miserable. That's all. Because I'm sure wherever she is, she's at least comfortable.
Mhm.
Well, at least wherever she is, she'll bring a good personality to it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And some wry humor.
Yes, that will be good. That will be good. Rye or whole wheat.
That's right.
Wordsmith, yeah. Well, that's a good segue to me. I wanted to read something that she wrote to my wife and I, Mira, when our second child was born, Daniel, and it really kind of it brings Sonny's voice back front and center. So bear with me. It's hopefully not too long, but it's dated September 7th, 1998, which is a few days after Daniel was born. His name is Daniel Ellis Holman. And she says, I love the name Daniel. That's all in caps, exclamation point. Would have named my son Daniel if he hadn't already been named Arthur when I came on the scene. And Daniel Holman has a real ring to it, a scientist, a gentleman, and a tennis player, I think. And then she goes into a journalist mode. Wimbledon, June 17th, 2018. Dan Holman held aloft the Winners' Cup for the third time here this afternoon, triumphing over a tough field of challengers. Now well on his way to breaking the Pete Sampras title record that says stood for 20 years, the slender young Stanford PhD deluged his opponent, the gargantuan Mark Papapoulos Jr., with an overwhelming storm of service aces, cross-court winners, and down-the-line smashes. As usual, the handsome blonde American eschewed the rocket launch. You should see, he's anything but blonde. Eschewed the rocket-launched rackets now favored by the majority of players, roaring to victory using his grandfather's 1947 gut-strung Spalding Don Budge special. Quote, I feel that Spalding, I feel about that Spalding the same way I feel about my Stradivarius, says Holman, who this season managed to squeeze in 53 major concert appearances while on the tennis tour. They don't make violins or rackets like that anymore. The age and patina of the Don Budge adds a ping Slazenger has never succeeded in duplicating. Interestingly, few concert goers or tennis fans realize that the tennis champion Dan Holman and the violin superstar Daniel Ellis are both packaged in one remarkable body and mind, along with the physicist Daniel E. Holman and the best-selling novelist Ellis Daniels. That was Sonny.
That was definitely
when I think of the name Ellis, I think of Robbie Ellis, who was probably the premier art dealer in Portland, Maine, but he has another secret life as a professional wrestler with all of the razzmatazz of the World Wrestling Foundation. It's absolutely crazy. And Sonny would have loved it.
She had a great imagination and a great skill with words.
So did
Yeah.
your son ever play tennis? the violin?
No, he's a writer. No, he's back here.
Where did the name Holman come from?
The name Holman?
Yeah, I mean, and that was my father's name originally.
Yeah,
It's
well,
Felice.
this is Felice.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
see, Dad always said it was, your father dropped the
The Z.
right?
The
Yeah.
Z.
So
Right.
the T may have been dropped at some point, who knows, but.
Oh, you had Holtzman. Right. Okay.
No. We it was Holzman. So Sonny and Dad
Yeah.
were cousins, of course.
Sonny, your son.
Oh,
Was-
Felice, we have never met, but you knew my parents, Phil and Ann.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who
And-
I did? God,
Eh,
I'm not supposed to forget people.
that's okay. But they were cousins growing up. So the three, let's see, my great grandfather was Ben Holtzman, which was your father's brother.
Right. Now, I knew his brother and sister, but I didn't know. This is when I was a child, but I didn't know anybody else in the family.
Yeah, I got that.
They were way away in the Bronx. We were out on Long Island.
Oh, I
Long
see.
Island.
Right.
And but I was interested. That's the first time I've heard the name connected to families. You know, we went in the direction of the Hotchners, the Hotchners, yeah. So, right, okay. Well, thank you for the information.
Sure.
And this is such a brilliant idea. Really, I wondered how you all were.
As long as we're asking questions, one story I've heard bits and pieces of is about these two writers, Felice and Sonny, who wished they had a brother and created one. Can you fill
Oh,
us
we
in?
did. Was his name David?
You need to tell us. I don't know.
I think so. Something romantic like that. Yeah, right. That's true. We did. You're probably the only person that remembers that.
You
Or that
wrote
knows
letters to him from each other, right?
Pardon?
You wrote letters from him to each other.
Letters? I don't remember that. I just remember us talking as young people.
Well,
Yeah.
the story Sonny said, and I assume
Yeah.
this was mutual, is that when it went on too long, you sent him off to the Spanish War and he died a noble death.
That sounds like Sonny's contribution. It does. That very, very good. I think that's nice to have a brother that, or a relation that went to the, yes, that's a brother, right? Went to the Spanish War. Yes, yes. That's good. That adds to the richness of our background.
Oh, right. He's on the right side, too.
Right,
other
absolutely.
People want to share?
Pardon?
Yes.
So I hope I don't cut out. My connection is bad, but a couple things. One is that my Aunt Elaine, who we talked about before, Ken's mom, and was always very close to Sonny. And also Elaine and Josh, her husband, basically anytime they could find a reason would have a party. And often parties celebrating birthdays. And Sonny and I collaborated a couple of times on the lyrics for songs to Elaine, particularly to Elaine. And it was just so much fun to work with her on it. She was so creative and funny. And then we would sing the songs at the party. And it was just a great memory of working together and laughing and having fun. But it wasn't only the fun side. Sonny was so sensitive. When my brother died, she wrote a beautiful letter to my family. When my parents died, she wrote lovely notes to me. And she just didn't hesitate, to express her opinions, of course, on politics and whatever else was going on. But also just, she was so thoughtful and really would put herself out there to let her know that she cared about you and, to support you when times weren't so good. I just will always remember all of those.
And always with the kind of writing that Paul read to us from that wonderful letter.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was beautifully written, everything. I saved them. But I'm not home, so I can't read them. Don't have
Where
them.
are you, Jan?
Oh, that's Lynn. Lynn is
Oh,
upstate New
Lynn.
York. My cousin Lynn.
Oh.
I'm in Massachusetts. In Massachusetts.
Well, I think I've run out of my contributions, so I'm going to bid you good morning. It's morning out here in California.
All right, it's early.
And wish you very well. All good. I'd like to hear good news from all of you soon. Whenever the leader of our world allows us to say we're over the depression that we're in. So
Yes,
I'll say good morning and goodbye to you with
Before you go, I just want to say briefly, I got a call from Nanine of Lisi's
yes.
To say that she was trying to figure out how to get Lisi on this call, and it was a challenge because Lisi's helper today doesn't speak English, and Nanine said, I think it's more important for Mom to be on this call than me, and I may not be able to get on. So I just want to put her name in here as somebody who also was very close to Sonny, and I think was very graceful in helping Lisi get on.
Yes, I appreciate it tremendously. I've never had. I wish you would write me how you arrange such a talk. I would find all the people I've lost.
Yeah.
right.
So thank you.
So good wishes to everyone.
Okay,
Thank you for arranging it.
Lisi. Bye.
What, dear?
Great
safe.
talking
Thank
to you.
you,
It was
thank
great
you.
seeing you in January and great talking to you now. Thank you.
Yes, I think of you often, really. Bye-bye, loves.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
So Arthur, do you have concluding words?
I don't have concluding words, and I'm not the master of ceremonies. I'm the director of the internet plumbing, which really, I use that metaphor because Zoom it establishes the connections, and we fill it with our thoughts and prayers and whatever. It's hard, I came down and spent the better part of, I think, 9 months in the apartment going through all the papers and books and art and things. And it's been heartwarming first to meet both of my parents through the written trail and art and literature that they left behind. And then by all the stories I've heard from you and neighbors and others. And it's a new picture. I mean, with all of Sonny's grace and skill and warmth, she could be a little bit icy and nervous and controlling. And it was nice, you know, near the end of her life and after that, to meet all these pictures of Sonny, who was so genuinely and deeply compassionate and caring and connected and good-humored. And that's what I want to remember, and that's easy to remember.
Mhm.
Those are my last words. That sounds theological. Any other
Not
last
truly
words?
last words.
I think that's very well said, Arthur. And
It is. She is unforgettable.
Mhm.
Mary, you want
Well, I think it's great you set this up for us.
Yeah, thanks, Arthur.
You're very, very welcome.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
being the internet plumber.
Well, the internet palmer is king these days, so he's very humble, but
Yeah.
it was a great idea to do something like this. I mean, who would thought of having a yard site memorial on Zoom, you know? But
Well, yeah.
I've been in a lot of groups that are using Zoom, and it's surprisingly personal. We see each other's faces closer up than if we were in a physical room together. And
it takes some getting used to for some people, for I think a lot of people, but it does provide a new level of connection that the telephone doesn't. But you have to get used to it and know how to use it, for sure.
Well, thank you, Arthur. Lynn and I had gone to a concert on
Thank you.
March 24th a year ago, and then went to see Sonny and arrived maybe only 15 minutes or so after she passed. And so that day is very vivid in our memories, and I think always will be. So I'm glad you set this up because it's an important memory.
well, Anne and I, having no sense that Sonny was about to pass, had gone to a restaurant about an hour from Portland when we got this call. And so immediately we headed back to Portland, took the boat to Peaks Island, packed our bags, went back to Portland and got on the road. And then I said, oh my gracious, we need to find a funeral director. And the hospice had given us a list of names, and I called the first name while Anne was driving and I'm sitting in this dark car. And the person who answered the phone gave me a real high-pitched sales talk. We're the people who know about compassion and can provide you the service and the care and the warmth and the connection that you need. And I listened to all of this and I said, no, this is not what any of us need. And I called the next person on the list, or the next company on the list. And the same person answered, didn't I just tell you? We can provide the service that you need. We have the warmth and the compassion and the caring. So what did I do? I called the next person and the next business. And again, I got the same person. These are all funeral homes owned by the same group. And then I called a friend in Portland whom I knew did death cafes and was really interested in how we reformed the notion of how we celebrate lives. And we found the most wonderful small company. The people who came to take Sonny's bodies, they weren't religious monks, but it felt so deeply spiritual. And at every step, when they had to help us through the forms and the legalities and everything else. But I will never forget that crazy ride edging towards the city. Total surprise, total shock. We knew we were close to her passing, but we had no idea, and I don't think any of us were ready.
No, we certainly were not.
No, we
She
were
was,
not.
she was more ready than we were.
When she told me that she had this disease, and she said, the doctor said if I don't take any meds, I will live about a month. And I said, and if you do? And she said, I've lived a good and a full life and I'm ready. And that wasn't the end of the discussion, but she knew where she wanted to be. So,
Well, I think she certainly lived a full life.
True. With more dance and concerts and theater and everything than any 10 people I know combined.
mhm.
I have a question for you, Arthur and Jan. Just what do you make of the fact that Sonny didn't say anything to Felice about it? Is it, I didn't know what the relationship was always very close as far as I knew. It's quite
Yeah, they
extraordinary.
spoke almost every day, so
Yeah.
I'm surprised Felice wasn't. Well, I guess Sonny probably tried to hide it and sound energetic when she talked to her. She didn't want to worry her, I know that.
Sunny was very clear that she wanted to enter hospice. And she was very clear that she wanted to be in hospice by her birthday. And her birthday was the 20th, and I think around the 18th was when the hospice bed arrived. So she was planning this, and I don't think she planned when she was going to pass. I'm sure that it was an act of compassion. Well, I'm not sure, I imagine that it was an act of compassion that she did not, didn't share that with Lisi.
Yeah.
But I was never privy to their private lives. They were very close. And sitting on the front door to the apartment, and I always left it there, was a note that said, call Lisi, which Sonny didn't need the reminder because I think it was as regular as brushing her teeth and having her morning coffee.
Yeah. Huh. Mm.
Do you mind if I take a very quick snapshot picture to give to Anne of the screen?
Oh,
Fine.
sure.
Say hello for us.
I
Yes.
will.
Send her best wishes.
Yeah. Anne is in a hotel room in Alexandria recovering from pneumonia, and she may have been out at the medical facility to see if she's, passed enough that she can begin to drive back. This has been a confusing, complex time for all.
You're right, and I appreciate these attempts to connect, which are very helpful, I think, to everybody, because it is a time where we're, as you and I talked about yesterday, we're humans and we don't gravitate to social distancing to begin with. So this is very much appreciated to see people that I haven't seen in a long time and ones that, I'm meeting for the first time. So that's really.
Speaking of connecting, you've never introduced the figure in the background of your picture.
This is Mira. Mira is the birth mother of Nina and Daniel.
Of the famous tennis player and violinist, yes.
Yes. And when Nina was born, Sonny, she was born at St. Vincent's. We lived in Brooklyn at Fort Greene, and Mira delivered at St. Vincent's. That's where the OB was. And after, I guess, 2 days, at that time they have you out on the third day. Sonny drove her Mercedes, I guess it was in, and we put the car seat, it was our car seat, we had a car seat in the back, and she drove us across the Manhattan Bridge to our home in Fort Greene, and she was so, it was like she was queen for a day. She was taking this new baby back home. She never let us forget it, what it felt like for her. And
she was very careful to count all of Nina's fingers and toes before we got out of the car. Make sure they were all there.
right.
Right.
So they had a very, she and Nina, the baby, had a very close connection with Sonny also. And when Daniel was born, she sent one of the three, the purple hippopotami. It was Maxwell, Melville, and the one that she sent to Nina that Nina still has in her room. She's now 27.
I never knew those names.
Yeah.
There's a reason we got together.
handmade. Yeah. Right. My mother had one in her house, and Nina has one.
And they're all related.
They are all related. Yeah, they all came from Sonny. If she, she had such a feeling for friends and family. If she liked you, she had to like you. And then when she liked you, she would just, push down walls to make sure that you got what you needed, wanted, which was just an amazing part of her that we all felt, the whole family felt lucky to be on that list of people that she cared about. And yeah, we miss her.
Oh yeah.
Well, we keep saying we're close to the end, but does anybody have anything else they'd like to share? We don't need to end, but we will at some point. And thank you all for being present, and thank you all for your care for Sonny, and what a blessing we've all had in being with her.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Stay healthy.
Yes, you too.
Be safe.